So, do you know what the oldest car is in the current MG lineup? Well, would you be surprised if I said it was the MG4 EV? Yes, that car has been around for 4 years already and it still looks modern and fresh even today. Well, MG clearly thought it could be improved, so here is the new 2026 MG4 EV update. Let's have a look to see what it is like. Welcome to Everything Cars and More. So let's start with what's new with the design. And starting with the front, nothing has changed. And I don't mean a few things have changed, I actually mean nothing has changed. The bumper design is the same as before, as too are the side vents and central air vent. The headlights are even the same before too, but all of it still looks very modern and to be honest doesn't need updating. Moving around to the side of the MG4 EV update, and there is no surprise that there aren't any changes to talk about, apart from the obvious new colour and wheel options. Moving around to the back of the MG4 EV update now, and there is a change. We get a different high level brake light, which integrates into the spoiler much better than before. Apart from that note, we get the same tail light design as before with its cool light graphic on top, and we also get the same bumper design as before too. Really, it is a bit of a shame that there aren't any more changes on this car, just to reveal that it is an updated model, because now you will see what has really changed on this MG4 EV 2026 update. Let's have a look at the battery and motor options you can get with this car. So, with the introduction of the new MG4 Urban, MG has dropped the standard model, so the range now kicks off with the long range model called Premium Long Range. This uses a 64 kWh battery pack and a 188 brake horsepower electric motor mounted on the rear wheels to give it rear wheel drive. This gives the car a 280 mile range and it can do 0 to 62 within 7.5 seconds, which isn't too bad. Charging speeds are also decent at 154 kilowatts too. The next version is the Premium Extended Range version, and this uses a bigger 77 kWh battery pack and a more powerful 241 brake horsepower electric motor. This increases the electric only range to 329 miles, which is quite good against its competition. It also reduces the 0 to 62 time down to 6.2 seconds, which again is very good. This motor is also mounted on the rear axle, giving it rear wheel drive. Strangely for this model though, charging speeds decrease slightly to 144 kilowatts. The final version is the legendary X-Power model, and this uses the smaller 64 kWh battery pack, but this time it has a dual motor setup giving the car 429 brake horsepower and 4-wheel drive. This reduces the 0 to 62 time down significantly to 3.8 seconds, which is quicker than any Lamborghini. The range on this model is affected slightly at 251 miles, but it isn't too bad, and charging speeds have increased back to 154 kilowatts. Right, now onto the price. The price of the new MG4 EV update has increased slightly because of the discontinuation of the standard range, but it hasn't increased as much as you would think. The price of the new MG4 EV update starts at £29,995. This is actually still a lot cheaper than its rivals. Also, don't forget you still get a 7-year warranty with this car. Right, let's have a look to see what the interior is like. So, climbing inside the new MG4 EV 2026 update, and this is where the biggest change is. We get an all-new interior. Now, this interior is basically exactly the same as the MG S5 EV interior. This means we get a light and airy design. To start with, we get quite a lot of soft touch materials on top of the dashboard now, and we also have this bar that runs across the dashboard. Talking of this bar, this houses your infotainment system. The infotainment system is the same as the S5, S6 and MG4 Urban. and it works quite well and is easy to use. The screen size has increased to 15.6 inches, which is very decent, and below the screen we get a few quick climate control buttons as well as your volume knob and home button, which is different than before. Even lower down we get some cool looking air vents similar to what you would find in a BMW 5 Series. In front of the driver you get a 10.25 inch digital instrument cluster which is fully digital, but has a 7-inch customisable screen inside it taken from the previous MG4, and its sides show your fuel range and kilowatt meter. The steering wheel is the same as before but now has a 3-spoke design to it and not the older 2-spoke. One strange change though are the indicator stalks. They have gone back to a previous generation design, which is odd, but I'm not complaining as, to be honest, I do prefer this look better. The centre console is completely different to before and is much more modern and high up, making you feel like you sit low in the car, and it is now connected all the way from the dashboard back to the armrest. And you also get a wireless charger on there as well as gear selector and cup holders, and like I said, your armrest. There is also a huge compartment underneath for bigger items too. Overall then, the fit and finish is quite high end and better than before, and it feels like the cabin has been much more thought out. Most of the piano black has now gone, and the centre console feels premium with the materials that have been used. Finally, the seats are the same as before but with revised materials, but we do get some new sports bucket seats in the X-Power models. Right, let's have a look to see what the rear seats are like. So, moving into the back, and there is no surprise that nothing has changed. This means you get the same respectable amount of legroom and headroom. Materials aren't the best in the back though, but you do get some USB-C ports. You can also just about sit free in the back, which is okay. Let's have a look at the boot. So, opening the boot to the new MG4 EV, and you're welcomed with the same 388 litres as before. This strangely is down on the MG4 Urban, which is cheaper. To be honest, this is a bit of a shame, but it is understandable with its sportier look. Folding the rear seats down, and you also get the same 1,364 litres of space, which is still very usable in today's world. So, in summary then, what do I think of the new MG4 EV 2026 update? Well, to start with, why would you need to improve a great car? It has a much better interior than before, and the battery and motor options are also much improved. I do wish though the exterior design was updated slightly to help it identify as a facelifted model. That is the only negative I have over it. It just looks slightly outdated compared to the cheaper Urban replacement. Overall though, it is a very good car and is still very relevant in today's market against its rivals, especially with some of them where it's about £5,000 less. So, what do you think of this car then? Leave a comment below, and whilst you're at it, don't forget to give a like and subscribe to Everything Cars and More. I'll see you in the next video.